visit some of our famous reeking dumpsters. It's Late Night with David Letterman. Tonight, actor Chef Goldblum, Paul Schaefer, and the world's most dangerous man. And now, the highest paid player in NHL history, Dave.
Welcome to the program. Thanks for dialing us up. Earlier tonight, right here on NBC, presidential hopeful Ross Perot. Why do I think of him as more of a vice president? Presidential hopeful Ross Perot had his own half-hour television program right here on NBC at 10:30. Let me tell you something. I'm no political expert, but believe me, it takes more than having your own show on NBC to impress people. I know that from a long... No. Did you see the presidential debates last night? I'll tell you, the question I have about the presidential debates last night, why was Admiral Stockdale wandering around on stage? Do you ever, let me ask you a question. Do you ever think about your life and you kind of reflect on things that have happened, situations transpiring, and you wonder to yourself, how would my life be different if certain things haven't happened, certain things didn't happen for me? And I was doing a little of that reflection last night, and it occurred to me, what would have happened to me in my life? How would have I been different if I never had discovered karaoke? And I'm thinking, it's unbelievable, completely. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is our 1700th show, right here on 1700th show. When we started on the air about 11 years ago, New York City was an overcrowded morass of crime, garbage, and corruption. And now, like I say, nearly 11 years later, I think I speak for almost everyone here when I say, it's still the finest morass of crime, garbage, and corruption in the whole damn world. On the program...
Thank you. Dave, I want to just say a quick hello to our good friend Bobby Womack out in L.A., who's having a monstrous tribute tonight and tomorrow night at the Strand Club in Redondo for the great Eddie Kendricks, former lead singer of the Temptations. Good luck, Bobby Womack, with that.
That's very nice of you, Paul.
Have a good time out there.
This by now, I mean, it'll have been on the air by the time you see this. Paul and I earlier tonight were part of the huge Bob Dylan tribute down there at Madison Square Garden.
You were killed in that.
Thank you very much.
And what a great choice of song.
I originally, as you know, was only going to do All Along the Watchtower.
And you were going to do it acoustically only.
Yeah, and then I decided, what the hell, I'm doing Tambourine Man.
Yeah, and that was a great choice.
Did you happen to see, this is interesting, I was watching that unbelievable baseball game the other night on CBS. The Atlanta Braves come from behind in the bottom of the ninth to win. Yeah, it was an amazing game. They won the National League pennant for the second year in a row, defeating the Pittsburgh Pirates. What was it, like 3-2? Yeah. A phenomenal game. And then afterward, of course, they had the presentation of the National League trophy to Ted Turner, who owns, of course, the Atlanta Braves. Now, I was watching this, and something very odd kind of occurred, and I was wondering if other people noticed this as well. Now, what you have to keep in mind here, this is a very emotional time for Ted Turner. Brian, if we have a clip of that moment after the ball game, keep your eye on Ted Turner. Now, okay. I believe he's receiving the National League. Okay, now listen to the presentation.
To win it the way we wanted at
All right,
the end.
he's the president of the Braves. Turner is in the back.
Hopefully it's not over yet.
Okay,
and the fellow who put this machine together, John Sherholtz, the general manager.
Okay, now he's being sprayed with champagne.
Now listen. John Sherholtz, the general manager.
Thanks, Tim. Here's a guy who
this machine together, John Sherholtz, the general manager.
You see what I'm talking about?
Thanks, Tim. Here's a guy who
this machine together, John Sherholtz, the general manager.
Thanks, Tim. Here's a guy who this machine.
That's all. And he's being sprayed with the champagne. I know there can be few more emotional moments than that, and he's being doused with the champagne, but yeah! I mean, didn't he put you in the mind of an aging kitty? Yeah! All right, Ted. Yeah! I do the same thing. Let's do our viewer mail. Is that what we're up to? Yeah, let's do some viewer mail and then get on with the big program. These are actual letters, kids, that come in from actual viewers. Here we go. We've done this every Friday night for the last 11 years. How do we celebrate after doing a really, really great show? Just wondering, Judy Hess, Piedmont, California. The question again, dear Dave, how do you celebrate after doing a really, really great show? This is from Judy Hess, Piedmont, California. You know what we do, Judy? When we do a really great show, I take the entire staff over to a little restaurant over on the Upper West Side. It's called Lewis and Clark's, and we just go nuts. We just celebrate all night long, and we have a great time.
Excuse me, Dave?
Lewis and Clark's, yes.
Lewis and Clark's has not been open since 1982.
Yeah, I know. Dear Dave, last weekend I attended a football game in which our team defeated Ball State, your alma mater. I attended Ball State University,
Of course you did.
Not only attended, I proudly have a degree from that institution.
You probably have.
I said proudly.
Oh, proudly hold a degree. Oh, I said I probably have a degree.
No. Sounds like an audition at Hanna-Barbera, doesn't it? Let's see. Anyway, the question in which our team defeated Ball State, your alma mater, of course, 62-10. After watching this, it was apparent that Ball State could use some help, and I figured you'd want to take a hands-on approach with the team. A concerned viewer, Aaron Rosenthal. Aaron, what are you, nuts? Of course, I'd love to help the Ball State football team. However, my coaching talents are already spoken for. Here, take a look at me coaching in action. Brian, roll that clip, will you? Here we go, and see what you think.
Go, Tom, go. Don't read the labels, just fill the cart. Go for the expensive stuff, damn it. The meat, the coffee. Meat, meat, meat. Coffee, coffee. Finally, some damn meat. Load the meat. Come on, load the meat. Anyway, now, go for the coffee. Come on. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Yes, yes.
Okay, sure. Absolutely. Okay.
I love Supermarket Sweep.
Good for you.
Where can we see more of that show?
I have no idea.
Ah.
Letter number, no, you can see it, Paul, if you're really interested. You can see that on the Lifetime Network.
Let me mark that down. Lifetime.
So Ted Turner says to his wife, Jane Fonda, in the afternoon, you know, honey, we win this ball game tonight. When I accept the trophy, I'm going to act like a kitty. And Jane says, Ted, are you sure? Ted, do you think that's Yeah, I'm going to act like a kitty. You just watch. You just sit back up there in the hotel suite and watch me act like a... I'll be acting up like a kitty, Jane. You watch that.
You did.
Keep your eyes on me, Jane. I'm a kitty tonight. Dear Dave, letter number 3 begins, why does Paul always have his hand on his chest? One of your fans, Chris Dunn, Bellevue, Washington. You know, I have noticed that, Paul. Occasionally it seems like you got your hand... Are you covering something? What is there on your chest there?
Well, it's a little embarrassing.
Let me see that, Paul. What is that?
See it?
Yeah, no, I can't. Right. Oh, my gosh, Paul. Paul, you're an adulterer?
No, actually, Dave, I'm an Anglophile. You see, I love the Queen, and I love scones, and I love warm beer and bad teeth, and I like saying lift instead of elevator, and, you know, I know it's wrong, but I love steering wheels on the right side, and I love Masterpiece Theater.
You can see Supermarket Sweep on the Lifetime cable network. Runs pretty much 8 hours a day. Wait a minute. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul, what about that Fergie?
I don't actually care much for Fergie.
Okay. Letter number 4. Dear Dave, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen on TV? I mean, aside from Ted Turner's kitty impression? Now, this is a serious question. This comes to us from Jim Linehan, Cambridge, Massachusetts. A couple of nights ago, I was here in the, at the network. We were working late, as we do most nights, putting this fine program together for you folks at home. And I happened to be dialing around, and we get what this is. It's like a closed-circuit feed. NBC News offers it, and you can see it's not stuff that goes out on the air, but it's stuff from the site. And this was coming in from the location of the debate in Atlanta. And I saw this. It was unbelievable. I called some of our technicians. And I said, boys, can you tape record this for me? Roll that, Brian. I think this is pretty strange. Here, okay, there's Tom Brokaw. He's at the site in Atlanta. All right, now watch. Watch. Look at that. That's right, sure. He's frying bacon at the debates.
Can't believe it.
There's an old expression. I guess I'm telling my own age here now. Use an expression that goes way back like that.
Frying bacon.
Frying bacon at the debates.
Yeah.
My folks used to say that.
You're dating yourself.
Boy, he's frying bacon at the debates, ain't he?
That's
we have to pause now. We're going to do a couple... It's my imaginary life for Ted and Jane.
Yeah, imaginary accent.
Let's see. Jeff Goldblum is here. All right. Now you've gone and ruined our fun, for God's sake. The category from the Home Office in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Top 10 signs our nation's infrastructure may be crumbling. Infrastructure. You have your interstate highways. You have your public buildings, monuments, bridges, tunnels, trestles, that kind of thing.
That's the infrastructure?
I believe so. I'm not completely 100% sure on that, but I believe those are some of the infrastructure.
And these were the signs?
Top 10 signs now that our nation's infrastructure is crumbling. Here we go, number 10. Grand Canyon, now only 8 feet wide. Number 9, trains must perform Evel Knievel-style jumps to compensate for missing bridges. Number 8, face of Hoover Dam is a crazy quilt of different kinds of string and tape. Number 7, introduction of new Ben & Jerry's flavor nutty crumbled infrastructure. Number 6, New York City potholes now available as studio apartments. Number 5, Tom Brokaw is forced to fry bacon with his eyes. I'll tell you something. That's a sure sign something is wrong. When a network anchor man has to fry bacon with his X-ray vision, you're not telling me something's out of whack? Number 4, New York Public Library recently collapsed when guy leaned against it. Number 3, when driving on I-95, often find yourself in center of earth. Number 2, hairline cracks beginning to appear in Barbara Bush. Number 1. But at least it's not me making that kitty sound. And the number 1 sign your nation's infrastructure is crumbling. 3 words, West Side Highway. Some kind of toxic nuclear cloud. Our first guest, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
You know what? This reminds me of last night. We were lucky enough on the program to have Johnny Cash with us.
Yes.
And he dressed almost identically.
Yes.
Now, is there a connection? Is this something you thought about, or is there anything behind the way you look tonight, or shall I just go on?
No, it's a rich subject. Rich, I'm sure. But I don't know what to say about it.
It's a striking look, certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Striking in a good way? Or?
Yeah, I think so, because we were all very excited last night when Johnny Cash was here, and there's just something about his voice and his music and his presence, and it was really great fun to have him here last night, and I think that's why I noticed this.
Well, thank you.
Let's, a couple of interesting things come to mind for me. I know that you had the misfortune to be in Hawaii for the most recent storm.
Yes.
Iniki?
The storm Iniki, that's right, on Kauai. I was filming this Jurassic Park movie. Steven Spielberg was
This is a huge motion picture, isn't it?
Huge motion picture.
What is it about? And then we'll get to the storm in a second.
Yes. Oh, dinosaurs, you know, a billionaire, squillionaire Sir Richard Attenborough, played by Sir Richard Attenborough, gets scientists to figure out with the DNA somehow how to make dinosaurs in the modern world. Makes a park out of them.
They start out as a novelty, as just kind of a little something fun, right? The dinosaurs?
Well, yes, it's meant to be a whole a big fun park, like a zoo, amusement park thing that people will flock to because they've got hundreds of big
Actual dinosaurs, yeah.
That's right. There seem to be maybe safety questions, so they invite me and Laura Dern and Sam Neill to take a preliminary tour.
Do some troubleshooting?
Yes, so to speak, and things go haywire. Dinosaurs get out and run after us.
Yes, sir. When DNA experiments go haywire, woo, get a cab. So you're there filming the next Steven Spielberg blockbuster, and okay, now what happens? Did you have any warning that the storm was coming?
Yes, very little. It was my last day. It was my last, to be my last day. I was expecting to have it off. I stayed up late. They call it 6 in the morning. Quick, the hurricane that we talked about yesterday is coming. If you quickly pack in a half an hour, you can make the last plane out of here.
Very dramatic, very exciting.
Very dramatic and exciting. I put threw all my clothes from the 2-week stay in there. Quickly, bellhops, of course, everything. I quickly sort of, lugged it past the women who sold the Danish and all that stuff, and looked, I'm sure, to them like a chicken, like some kind of panicking. They didn't realize that I was late for this plane.
All right, now I don't want to leave people with the impression that you are leaving the women selling the Danish behind.
We don't?
No. They're on the storm where the island is about to be terrorized by the storm.
True.
Yeah.
True. So, I don't know however we can say about it. But,
anyway,
in fact, I was leaving. Yeah. But I missed the plane. There's no plane to get. In fact, the last plane couldn't get off. And that day, they told us the storm was coming. The eye is coming right over the island.
Oh, man.
Leave your rooms. Put the couches against the windows because they're all going to crash in. Fill the bathtubs with water. Because there's going to be no water after this, and let's all meet, the film crew, in fact, down in this ballroom, where we think it will probably be okay. If it starts to fill up with water, maybe we'll have to evacuate, but we think... So we kind of look at the storm coming and marvel at its awesome power as long as we can.
What manifestation, what form did it take? I mean, was it like just the worst driving, windy rainstorm you've ever been in, or was it much, much more? I mean, obviously the damage was much, much more, but what did it look like?
Well, amazing. As much as we could, we stayed out there until we couldn't anymore, and the waves started to come and get bigger and bigger, and wind, and then we had to get in, but we'd peek out and be able to see amazing driving, 150-mile winds. You've seen it on television.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, the sound, and it's blowing. The trees are, flying.
Just uprooted everywhere. The big palm trees.
Exactly.
Now, did they say in this storm, or was it the one in Florida, that they clocked winds, they think, nearly at 200 miles an hour?
I'm not sure which one.
Yeah. And you've obviously never seen anything like it.
No, never anything like it. And we just huddled together for hours, played charades and played games. And, I thought for a second, should I have a plan here that's like, have they taken care of everything, or should I have... Well, I shouldn't start hoarding food or something. I wanted to do the heroic thing, But it did bring us together. We had a sense of community, and we played games and stuff like that.
I think the Coast Guard in one of their little hurricane pamphlets suggests charades during a hurricane.
Yes,
I think they do.
We're following that.
Well, I'm glad you survived, but man, what a horrible experience for the folks who lived there and lost their homes and more.
Dreadful. There were people who didn't make out very well.
We need to do a commercial.
Orbison.
Because of the glasses, I think, right?
I guess so. I don't know.
He looks like Roy Orbison, that's what.
Well, you're not insulted by that, are you?
No. Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison.
Great man, great music.
Absolutely.
We were looking at your film this afternoon, Fathers and Sons.
Yes, sir.
And it looked to me like, and forgive me because I really don't know the terms, and maybe it's presumptuous of me to be saying this, but it looked like a real actors kind of movie. It seemed like there were big, long scenes featuring the strength of the acting.
Yeah, that's right. It's a very...
Well, that's good, isn't it?
It's very good, as much as I'm humbly capable of. Yeah, it's a nice little chance, and Paul Monis directed it beautifully, and it's a sweet, lovely story, dramatic, about me and my
It's very
son.
sad, isn't it?
Well, there are moments of lightness, but it's sad and finally hopeful and joyful, sweet movie. Mostly it centers around this kid who plays my son, Rory Cochrane, who's looks like me, and people say, we could be actual father and son. And he's 16, he's going through, you know, sex for the first time and drugs and kind of finding his separateness from me. And I'm going through kind of torment myself and trying to figure out how to make express my love to him and make a connection with him.
Now, I didn't see the entire film, but it's you and your son, and it's not one of those deals where there's some experiment goes wrong in the basement and the kid gets to be like 40 feet tall.
It's a DNA error.
Another wacky DNA movie.
It's horrible, yeah.
And the film goes nationwide soon?
Yes, November 6th in New York and Seattle and Los Angeles.
And then when will the Spielberg dinosaur thing be out? That's going to be like probably a Christmas from a year from now?
I think the summer. I think they're
summer.
planning on the summer, yeah.
Now, we mentioned earlier, do you happen to play the piano?
Yes, I do.
Oh, Paul, do you hear that? He plays the piano.
I understand he hears it, yeah. I'm shaking.
Have you played all your life?
Oh, yes, since I was a boy, that's right.
Yeah, you played professionally as a young man?
Around 15, I would get, secretly, I don't know how I got this idea, I would go to the study and get yellow pages and call cocktail lounges around Pittsburgh, where I grew up. Really? And go down the list and call up and say, hey, I understand you need a piano player there.
Was this part of a Boy Scout project or something?
It's my own wacky idea. And someone said, no, we don't have a piano. Someone said, yeah, well, we have a piano. No, we have a cocktail. No, we have a piano here. I don't know. Come on down and show us what you can do. And
you actually got a job?
And I got a couple of different jobs.
As a 15-year-old piano player in a bar?
Yeah.
All right. And what would be the most requested song?
Misty.
Okay, I'd love to hear a little of that. Do you mind? Right over there. Paul? Yeah, sure. Misty. Now we're getting somewhere.
All right.
He's much bigger than you are, Paul. Much larger man than you are. We need some cheap cocktail lighting for this as well, I think. And some cheap cocktails, come to think of it. I have been amused, puzzled, and endlessly entertained by my own dreams. But what do they mean? Anything? Nothing? Who cares? Who knows? Well, to find out the other day, I paid a visit to an expert in dream analysis, Dr. Letterman, here in New York City. Dr. Letterman, let's start talking about dreams, all right?
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, I'm having this dream that I'm eating a giant marshmallow. You ever hear this? I think it's a fairly common dream. You know what I'm going for?
No.
I have this dream that I'm eating a huge marshmallow, and I wake up, and you know what happens?
Go ahead.
I go to the pantry, and my giant marshmallow is gone. Have you ever had anybody do any of these experiments? I've tried it at my house. You get some cables with some alligator clips, and you hook them up to your head. Like you get 3 alligator clips, one to each eyelid and one to your tongue, and then you hook them up to the VCR, and you program the timer and all of that sort of thing, and then you can record your dreams. And I've been very successful with that, and have, in fact, rented some to my neighbors.
Oh, right. You've had X-rated dreams?
I don't know. Now you're just being silly. Another dream that I've had frequently since I was a kid. My mom and dad and I are out like in a rough-hewn sort of log structure. It's sort of a primitive surrounding, and I'm an infant outside unattended, and from out of nowhere, a giant, huge condor-like carnivorous bird sweeps down and hooks his beak underneath my blanket, and just in his beak flies me away, and I'm screaming like a maniac, and this buzzard is just flapping away. It's a horrible experience. There, for the longest time, I had this dream that somebody kept breaking into my house. How much would you get for this session?
Well, my scale is between 150 and 200.
Now you're dreaming.
Some people claim they have dreams that help foretell the future.
Last night I had a dream about coming here, and I dreamed that I'd be out by noon. I have a feeling that's coming true. Do you ever see the TV show Dallas with that JR?
I remember him.
Yeah, I watched that show faithfully, and then after like their 9th or 10th year on the air, Mickey, his young arch rival, had been killed in a shower, and then the very next fall, on the very first episode, they announced that everything you had seen the previous year had been a dream. So for me, that did two things. I didn't want to trust the show Dallas anymore, and also it gave for me kind of a bad feeling about dreams generally. Did you find that when that happened, your practice doubled?
No.
Would it help at this stage of our session, or does it ever help in any sessions if you and I got down on the carpet and tried to take a nap together?
Take a nap together.
Yeah. You ever hypnotize anybody?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I love doing hypnosis.
When I was married, I went to a marriage counselor. So one day, I guess to get me to stop crying, he said, "All right, I'm gonna hypnotize you now." And so I said, "Okay," and he did. And this was like in 1978. And to this day, whenever the automatic garage door opens,
right,
I quack like a duck.
I like making duck sounds myself. You can do that.
Oh, geez, doctor, our time's up. Like an afternoon with Dr. Floyd, wasn't it? We'll do it.
From New York, where I often think of myself as a noble fly buzzing high above the tower of human garbage. Tonight, a man who, night after night, brings joy to hundreds. Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. My name is Dave Letterman, the tallest man currently hosting a talk show. Thank you.
That is correct.
According to the latest Washington Post poll, I thought this was interesting and telling, not to mention insightful. George Bush is 7 points ahead now of Michael Dukakis, and the margin of error here is Dan Quayle. But you know, seriously, did a cloud just float by? Just for a second there, was there a shadow drifting by, Paul? Did you see that?
Vice President. Possibly.
You know, I'm starting to wonder if there's a correlation here. You know, my life is, it's just a living hell. Well, I'll tell you what happens here, and you tell me if you think maybe there isn't a connection. Last week, I get into a huge fight with my cook, and I have to cut his pay. And ever since then now, and I don't know if this is my imagination, but ever since then, all my food tastes like cleanser. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I was watching, as I do most evenings, PBS, and Nova was on last night. There was a rather interesting point brought up on this program, although now I guess we all understand that the human brain is approximately 80% water. Experts feel that it would be really lousy tasting water. Yes, sir. Like a bourbon and a shot of brain water. Oh, it's so quiet in here now, isn't it, Paul?
It's sort of peaceful, actually.
Yes, it is peaceful. Like one of the great cathedrals of Europe in here today, isn't it? I don't know why, but I always get a little queasy when this happens. And again, an anecdote from my personal life. The fat guy who lives alone in the house next to me, and this happens every few weeks, he comes over, knocks on my door, I go downstairs, and he wants to borrow a pint of baby oil. I'm the tallest man with a talk show, ladies and gentlemen. Just keep that in. Hi, you're on the air. Turn down your radio, please. I'm 6'6", 240. Thank you very much. Wait a minute, Kevin. Was that it? Yeah. That was the big one? Yeah. Oh, no. Didn't we have another one? That was it for the jumbo joke cards? We did all 4 of them? Let's go back and do one over. Let's see. No, we don't want to do that one over. No, really lousy tasting water. No, we don't want to do that one either. You're right. We're done. Turns out he knows what he's talking about. The end of October, everybody's getting ready for that special night of weird costumes and scary noises and big bags of candy. No, I'm not talking about a GE executive board meeting. No, of course, here I mean Halloween. So let's now take a look at some of the new and unusual costumes that you'll be seeing on your trick-or-treaters this year. Walk this way, ladies and gentlemen, to the Letterman family home. Okay, enough of the cartoon. Thank you very much. Here, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the Letterman living room in the Letterman trailer, and we're just now waiting for the little trick-or-treaters. Geez, I wonder who that could be. Was that the doorbell? All right, here's our first little trick-or-treater of the evening. Hi, come on in. Whoa, easy. Watch yourself. Gosh, look at how elaborate this costume is. He all right? All right. Don't worry, folks, the chance of electrocution is actually very small. This costume brings back happy memories of summer vacations, doesn't it? It's the Bug Zapper. And for you, son, I believe we have a 1.5 pound can of generic beef stew. All right, I'll do... Oh! Are you okay? Okay. Whoa, well, don't topple over and hurt anyone. And, of course, when I say don't hurt anyone, I'm referring to me. Okay, there you go. Nice to see you. Happy Halloween. God almighty. We may have to copter that kid out of here. Oh, well, let me close the door. Well, that's it for the trick-or-treaters. I can't imagine there being... Oh, guess what? There is somebody else. Hi, come on in. Nice to see you. What's your name?
My name's Tika Fitz and I'm 4 years old.
Okay, fine. and moms will love this safety-conscious costume. It's the Lil Traffic Cone. And I tell you, for you, we have $25 worth of gambling chips from Trump's Casino in Atlantic City. Here you go. Enjoy yourself. Pretty busy night, don't you think, Paul? Exactly. Yeah. Hi, come on in. Nice to see you. Oh, this is cute. You can forget all about the Thundercats or Spider-Man. This year, inspired by intense media exposure, most kids want to be the Reverend Al Sharpton's vest. And it looks like it might be actual size. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a good look. Let's see. And for you, we have some wiper blades. There you go. Do you drive?
No.
Well, these will come in mighty handy, won't they? Nice to see you. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye. Reverend Al Sharpton's vest. One more. Gosh, I hope we don't run out of candy. Oh, hi. How are you? Nice to see you. What is your name?
My name's Tika Fitz and I'm 4 years old.
Wow, this is a terribly frightening costume, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bar of Willie Nelson's soap. We have for you, sweetheart, a nail gun, okay? Might want to tease your folks with that. There you go. Be careful. Nice to see you. Honey, say hello to Ernest Borgnine in the green room, okay? All right. Kids love Ernest Borg. Oh, hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Here's a popular costume among youngsters who enjoy wearing hairpieces. It's Cy Sperling, president of the Hair Club for Men.
And I'm not just the hair club president.
Right.
I'm also a client.
Yeah, very good. That's very nice. Very good, son. You need some therapy. Here we have for you a lovely giant ceramic monkey. I made this myself. I hope you treasure it, won't you? Oh, geez, I was getting ready to turn in. Oh, hi, how are you? Kids who live in big cities and only see animals at the metropolitan zoos will recognize this lovable fellow. It's the heavily drugged bear covered with debris. Are you all right in there? Okay, let's see. Oh, and for you we have a pound of bacon. Here you go, fry it up, share it with your friends. Let me put it... Yeah, here, can you... There you are. Thank you very much. Be careful. Hi, come on in. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of a car. What kind of car is this exactly? I see. It's a Suzuki Samurai, isn't it? That's what I thought. Do you like garnishes? We have some parsley for you. Okay, happy Halloween. The Suzuki Samurai, Paul. Say hello to Mr. Borgnine. Oh, my gosh, what a night, Paul. I don't remember it ever being this busy. Oh, this is good. If your child is a New York baseball fan, they'll love wearing this rotating wheel of Yankee managers. They're all here. We have, of course, there's Gene Michaels and Dallas Green, the new man, and Lou Piniella, and, excuse me, and Billy Martin. And they just... I have here for you, this is a stick now, but it's not an ordinary stick. It's a stick out of my backyard. All right?
All right.
Will you enjoy that?
Yes.
All right. Happy Halloween. This better be the last, because we're running out of stuff to give away. All right, I'll be right there. They're probably out vandalizing my car now, aren't they? Okay, hi, come on in. Oh, it's a couple. Isn't this nice? Here's a popular pair of costumes that we're seeing for the first time this year. Michael Dukakis's eyebrows. Very nice. It's good to see kids still look up to America's leaders. All right. Okay, here for you, we have a quart of charcoal starter. There you go. And for you, sir, we have a fan belt. I hope you enjoy those. Thank you very much. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye. Is that it? There it is. Halloween.
Alaska has proven one thing. People are interested in whales. CNN's Dave Monzes reports this isn't the first time whales have gotten in trouble and people have developed such an interest.
Tonight, Rocktoberfest! 31 days again! Boom, pa, pa!
Smartest and best looking, and I am the tallest talk show host in America. Remember, Merv Griffin was technically bigger than I was, but I was always taller than Merv was.
Is the Dr. J show off the air now, then?
I don't know what... Oh, yeah, it may be. But look, I have one of these tonight.
You have the...
This is a cheap way to generate hydroelectric power for the entire Northeast, just by doing this. We could light the entire eastern seaboard with that.
It's wonderful. You know what that's called?
Well, of course I know what it's called. It's the VibraSlap.
VibraSlap, also known as the jawbone of an ass.
Really?
Absolutely true, yes.
Oh, no kidding. And what makes that noise in there? There's something in there.
It's a little... originally, I think it used to be an actual jawbone of a donkey with teeth rattling.
Really?
And now it's been, you know, synthesized and MIDI'd.
Because they outlawed donkey teeth years ago.
That must have been what it was.
But we have one of those if we ever need it.
If we need it, okay.
Before we bring out George...
Yes, Dave.
What is... Oh, it's a Hal Gurney Network time killer, Paul. Do we have music for this?
Music, Paul. And come on in.
Oh, there's Hal. Hi, Hal. How are you?
Hi, Dave.
Yeah. What do you have for us tonight, Hal?
Something very special, Dave. I have some footage of Dan Quayle eating lunch. You want to see that?
Dan Quayle,
eating lunch. Roll it,
Vice
Hal.
Presidential candidate Dan Quayle
That's
eating
the guy.
lunch. All right, Hal, let's take a look.
There it is.
President Reagan. He's
Can you see that, Dave?
Yeah.
There, lower left-hand corner. There he is.
My God, it is. It's Dan Quayle. The president appears to be speaking.
He is. He's talking.
Yeah. Everyone else seems to be paying attention. This guy is obviously there just for the free lunch.
Quite a trench.
Which I think was his early campaign slogan, wasn't it? I'm just here for the free lunch.
Pretty heavy with the butter, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. But I'm sure he's paying attention, wouldn't you?
This goes on for another hour, Dave.
Goes on for another hour. Dan Quayle, ladies and gentlemen, eating lunch. Eating lunch, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else we got to do here? I guess we're ready to roll. Our first, you always dress quite colorfully.
Oh, thank you very much.
And tonight is no exception.
No, tonight is no exception. I wanted to mention, I did have another plug. I know that you're you're not crazy about doing plugs.
Anti-plug.
A little bit anti-plug. Sometimes I've noticed you'll have somebody on, and you'll say kind of proudly, you'll say something like that, they're not plugging anything, they're just here because they like us.
That's right, sure.
Well, first of all, they don't like you that much. And second of all, they're out of work. So
See? But you will be at Giggles.
I'll be at the Comedy Castle in Detroit also next week, right. And then the Atlanta Punchline on Thanksgiving week. I'm all done with them now.
So for you, it's a national tour of dumps.
Thank you very much. Yeah, get him. Get him. Gee, they even boo you when you have your own show. That is really amazing.
So tell now, you were always you would come on the show and you'd be looking for a gimmick.
I'm still looking for a while. Since I left you last, I became the hip comic.
Yeah.
I thought of myself as the hip comic, and then somebody said you can't do that because they pointed out that for a long time I thought Bon Jovi was a cologne, so I cannot be.
You couldn't be hip. No, if you
not if you think Bon Jovi. So now I'm the in the news.
In the news.
I'm the in the news comic. You were always talking about Dan Quayle, and remember a few weeks ago.
We just had him eating lunch.
I just saw that. I was back there watching him eat lunch. A few weeks ago, Bush defended Dan Quayle. He said, okay, he did not go to Vietnam, but also he did not burn the American flag or his draft card.
Right.
It's like, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. So. Thank you very much. And then my Uncle Lewis came to...
I met Uncle Lewis.
You met Uncle Lewis?
Yeah, in Los Angeles a few years ago. Yeah.
And he announced that he is going to vote for Bush. And I said to him, well, Uncle Lewis, does this mean that you do think that you are better off now than you were 8 years ago? And then he reminded me that 8 years ago he was in prison.
Oh,
so it's,
sure, of course. He would be better than,
a little bit better off.
How come he had to go away? I remember hearing about that.
It was something about some phony checks. Yeah.
See, it wasn't a check kiting scheme, was it?
I'm not sure about that, but it was some kind of trouble. Yeah. So then, and on with my in the news portion here.
Sorry.
Timothy Leary. Remember Timothy Leary, who advocated thank you, LSD use in the 60s. He wanted that. And he paid $35,000 so that after he dies, they're going to remove his head and then freeze it, you see. Now, does this mean we'll never quite be rid of him? Or... And his wife told him, don't put it off, have it done now. And then Mayor Koch here.
We're still in the news.
We're still in the news. We got one more to go in the news.
For people scoring at home.
Mayor Koch, your own Mayor Koch, said, don't give the vagrants money. They'll just use it to get high. Gee, I thought they were going to build roads and schools. Thank you. The second applause. The second applause since I've been on here.
You look like you might be later going to officiate an Australian rules football contest with this little outfit.
You never stop with those clothes jokes. Just
I'm sorry.
Years and years and years.
So you've been watching a lot of television?
Oh, always.
Have you seen the new fall season?
I haven't seen the new fall season. I always watch Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, sure.
Because I always like to know what's coming up next. They always promo a lot. John Tish one night said, when we come back, we'll show you why Milton Berle is twice as funny as you thought he was. And I'm thinking, well, no, because 2 times 0 is still 0. So that wouldn't exactly work, too. Now they're booing me. Yeah. Will the band be close behind?
Yeah.
And then Bob Costas. I've been watching him on this new show.
There's a show right after ours, I understand.
Right after your show. It's called Later. And by the way, NBC is also giving me my own show now. It's called Never. So...
Congratulations.
Be sure not to watch for that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, thank you. And then Siskel and Ebert, of course, are still always at the movies together because neither one of them can get a date. And, well, see, a lot of people get them mixed up. Siskel is the one without too much hair, and he's very intense. And the other one is Ebert, who was last year's winner in the National Little Dumpy Guy contest. So.
Who sponsored that?
I think that was the Ice House in Pasadena.
I don't know, the little dumpy guy contest.
That was another plug.
We have to...
Final language of a comprehensive anti-drug bill. The agreement clears the way for the 100th Congress to vote Friday and adjourn for the year. The bill allocates about $2.5 billion to fight drugs. It is intended to deal with all aspects of the problem: enforcement, treatment, education, and smuggling from abroad. Thursday, conservatives won a battle to include another issue in the bill: penalties to fight the distribution of obscene materials. Once a Peace Corps volunteer, Alan Moore is now the Commerce Department.
This is Alan. He's been with us for, what is it, Lee? They landed a huge...
Eternity, I think it was. Or was it Marty?
No.
Maybe it was High Noon. I don't know. I haven't seen a movie since Shane.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't get out of the house very much. I'm always in my room. I feel safe in the room. You come over if you ever find out where I live.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Who are these people?
Delivering coffee.
Oh, thank you very much.
You have to order it days in advance here in New York. Thank you. So where were we?
Oh, we were talking about TV.
Television,
There's one commercial that I was wondering if you'd all seen. Two guys are walking down the street. This is for a drugstore, by the way. Two guys are walking down the street. One of them's name is Fred. He falls over with a heart attack. His friend who's telling the story dashes into the drugstore to get heart attack pills. And he says a great line. He says, "I don't know who was more scared that day, me or Fred." Well, my money's on Fred. Yeah, I think a guy who's dying is a little more shook up than somebody running an errand.
But you say you can now get heart attack pills.
Yeah, that's what it said.
I didn't realize that. You just go in and you get heart attack pills.
I'm just reporting on what I saw.
So that pretty much removes the fear of heart attacks forever.
Well, I know I don't have it anymore.
Just have a couple of heart attack pills, and it's like acne medication.
There's one more for Primatene Mist. The guy actually has bronchial asthma so bad he doesn't have enough breath left to blow out the match. So then he uses Primatene Mist, and then he can blow out the match. So I get this medication. Either that or go like this with a match. Maybe I should start going like this after every joke.
No, it's a very useful tip. I appreciate that. How's your personal life?
Well, I'll tell you something. Everybody, it's not just mine, it's just everybody's personal life. Pat Paulson, did you read about him? He's getting a divorce.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry to hear
his
that.
wife has a restraining order against him. She can't telephone him or come within 500 feet of him.
Wow.
Gee, that must be hell. And I'll tell you something. I'm getting to the age now, I can't always satisfy a woman, but with my behavior, I can usually get her out of the mood.
Yeah.
And if you don't appreciate that, you will eventually, so just hang on.
Is that like a permanent change?
That's probably a permanent change, yeah. I've been to several doctors. I don't know what's wrong.
Have you been up to Seattle lately to see Mom?
I'm going up there. Well, I was up there about a month ago. My mom now...
The Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. The
Emerald City.
Yeah.
That's right.
My mom now has her own business. She's in the Yellow Pages under I Can Spoil Any Occasion. And I thought my mom would love to be interrogated by the police, because the police make you tell the same story over and over and over. And even though I'm, what, about 67 now, she still sends me to the store. We're at the department store recently, and they got a big threatening sign, which I hate. You may be fined $500 for shoplifting.
Sure.
Which is actually a good deal, because I always try to steal at least $1,000 worth of merchandise.
Yeah, so it's like a sale for you
kind
then.
Of a sale, yeah. And I had to buy her some Maalox. Did you ever have to drink?
No, never had Maalox.
Yeah, now on the bottle it says great new taste. Oh yeah, I'll bet it's nectar from the gods.
And read any good books lately?
You're right, it is kind of peaceful in here.
Yes,
You're
it is.
absolutely right.
It's downright serene. It's like camping, isn't it?
I just read George Steinbrenner's new autobiography about his childhood. It's called I Never Had a Pet I Didn't Kill.
Oh, I didn't realize that was out.
Yeah, that's out. It's a fast edition. And then I like those medical articles that they have in the tabloids. I fainted in my sleep and didn't know it. And I had one thing.
Is this your big closer here?
Well,
go to the paper.
I don't think we should say that.
The big closer.
This is from the New York Times. This is a want ad I didn't quite understand. 6-figure income, challenging position, work with interesting people, glamorous offices, some lifting. That was my big closer. I didn't know it, but it was my big closer.
It's George.
Coastal fog, as you can see here across California. But we're looking at this next weather system. This temperatures and the chance of rain slips back into the forecast as well. Well, for the Hawaiian Islands, we did see some passing showers later on this afternoon, but by the early morning...
The door open. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for small town news. Paul, excuse me, Paul, do you have any accompanying music here for small town news? Paul Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Do you have anything here for us?
Yeah, I got a little something. Small town news, it's always nifty, but even better, going 50 on Route 78. You can't beat the views, yeah, for small town news. Let's cruise, let's cruise, let's cruise, let's cruise, let's cruise, and do the news.
All right, thank you, Paul. Paul, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Do you think maybe we've been doing the show too long?
I can't hear you.
Thank you very much. Small town news, ladies and gentlemen. For no apparent reason, from the back of a truck. Our first item comes to us from the Republican Eagle, Red Wing, Minnesota. It's a correction. An error appeared in the November 2nd Dear Abby column. It stated that Charlie's hiccups were cured temporarily through the use of carbon monoxide. It should have stated carbon dioxide. Also a correction on the recipe. The cookies should have read baking soda, not battery acid. Our next item comes to us from the Capitol, Annapolis, Maryland. Little item here, as you can see, Mr. Heat Pump, 1987. Mr. James Lippy, service manager of B&B Refrigeration Company of Frederick Incorporated, won the coveted Mr. Heat Pump title for 1987. Mr. Heat Pump for 1987. Coincidentally, that was my nickname in college. Paul,
yeah.
Coincidentally, that was my nickname in college.
What?
The Ellsworth American, Ellsworth, Maine, Governor McKernan says 1989 will be year of solid waste. Ladies and gentlemen, call me a dreamer, but I wish every year could be the year of solid waste. That's also NBC's slogan for the fall lineup, isn't it, Paul? Here you go. I'm going to lead you. Sorry. We have people to pick that up.
I know. Where are they?
They'll come out later tonight. Skyline Newspaper, Chicago, Illinois, 17th Annual Fall Dog Show and Obedience Trials, sponsored by the International Kennel Club. Special attraction, the art of dog hair spinning. The art of dog hair spinning. Do you like my jacket? It's a Collie Schnauzer blend. You'd make a lovely sweater, although you have to watch out for mange. Paul, is this part of the interstate system?
Something, I can't quite hear the sound.
Thank you very much. We're trying the Federal Highway to bring you small town news.
Thank you.
Thank you. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to... All right, one more. And then you have something to play us out? Why don't we just drive on down to Florida? I say, why don't we just drive on down to Florida?
Oh, swell idea. How do we get down there? I-95 again.
You look like you're about to perform some kind of incredible stunt.
I can make it to Florida. Very relaxing here.
And finally, from the Sunday Standard Times, New Bedford, Massachusetts, ad for a gift show at North Dartmouth Mall. Come help us celebrate the grand opening of our new public restrooms. Tell you what, honey, let's drink down a six-pack and go over to the mall and celebrate the opening of the restrooms. There's nothing worse than trying to take a leak and a clown is handing you a balloon. Is there, Paul? Is there, Paul? Go ahead, play something. Small town news from a speeding truck.
in-laws.
You know, there was a recent study of newlyweds, and they asked the
Down on the field, about 100,000. How many people did you invite?
Oh, about 2 million. Every Texan who drinks Miller Lite.
Wow, sounds like some party.
Well, I guess I'll go look for a bigger place. You want to come?
No, I think I'll stay and watch practice.
Hey, Drew, get back to you soon with more details.
There's only one. The T, truck, do something on a truck. That's where we are. Our next here. I really appreciate it, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And I know I say this a lot, but you do look terrific. You look just great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Were you born in this country? We were born in...
Oh, no, I was born in New Haven, Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah, actually in a little town just outside of New Haven called Hamden, Connecticut.
All right.
Way back in 1917, which kind of dates me, doesn't it?
1917, so that makes you what? You're
71.
Close to, wow, 71. Congratulations. But you also spent some time abroad, right, when you were a kid?
Yes, I spent some time with my mother over there, and when I came back, couldn't speak a word of English.
You're in Italy?
In Italy.
Yeah. What was that like for
my mother was a countess over there, and so she took me over there and had a lot of business engagements and everything else. And finally, when Mussolini came in, why, everything was gone, and she came back.
Yeah.
But
now, if your mother was a countess, does that make you anything?
Oh yes, a count of no count.
but what was that like? What are your memories of being the son of an Italian countess?
Well, I remember my grandfather, who was he was the financial advisor to Victor Emmanuel, the king.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him with his carriage every morning, going out with his top hat and cutaway coat and everything else, and his cane sitting there in the back end of his carriage, being driven to work. I don't think he ever did an honest day's work in his life, but, you know.
But now, do you remember being thrilled by all of this, or just taking it for granted because this was the way life was for you then?
Well, actually, it was taken pretty much for granted by me until suddenly it was gone, you know, and I didn't know any better. I was just a kid.
Yeah, and then you came back to this country, and eventually there was a period in your life where you were known as the man who killed Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I guess so. Especially one time when I went up to the Bronx to make a picture called Marty, and we were in our second night of shooting, and they saw me up there, and they said, yeah, there goes that SOB, you know, that killed Frank Sinatra. I looked over my shoulder.
Now, these are not members of the crew.
No,
these are people
standing there watching the whole thing. And so I said, hi, how are you? And I went over and changed my clothes and got into the habit and everything else, and started working my lines by myself, and suddenly there's a tap on the shoulder. Say, hey, you guy killed Frank Sinatra.
That's right, I killed Frank Sinatra.
I said,
yes, it's me.
And some guy spoke up in Italian and said, well, let's beat the hell out of him. I said, wait a minute, boys. You know, in Italian, I spoke to him, and I said, thank you, gentlemen, but look, it was only a picture. He got an Academy Award for it. What do you want?
Posthumously, of course, but yeah.
And besides, I said, it was only a picture, but I said, if you really want to fight, I'll take you on one at a time. And the guy says, you're Italian? I said, yes, Italian descent. Oh, my God, why didn't you say so?
Yeah.
So from then on, you know, they brought me pizzas and gallons of wine. But the one guy still insisted we ought to beat the hell out of him.
Doesn't that strike you as odd that people do that? And I think people, even today, would still do that. They see something on television.
I had at that time, when I had my hair cut short, even policemen were ready to run me in, you know.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was an amazing thing. And I can recall one time my father, when he first went to see the picture, he was sitting in front of two old biddies that were there, you know, and they kept saying, oh, that terrible man, oh, that bastard, and oh, this, and finally he turned around and he said, I'll have you know that SOB is my son.
Oh, geez, it's very strange, though. It's a very odd phenomenon. And then you did McHale's Navy, but that was much later.
Oh, much later, yes.
But at the time, you were an enormous film star.
Well, I don't know about enormous, but certainly I was working in films and getting well paid for it.
Did it seem odd to you to take a television job?
Well, at the time, I didn't want to, but I'll tell you what happened. It seemed that my agent had called and said, listen, they're going to do a show called McHale's Navy. Would you like to be the leading character in it? And I said, no, thanks. I said, I'm a motion picture actor now, and, you know, I don't want to get do any more television.
What year are we talking about? In the early 60s?
1962.
Right.
1961, the end of 61. So he said, okay, fine. And next morning there came a young man to the door, and he knocked, and I opened the door, and he said, sir, he said, I'm selling some chocolate bars. Would you like to buy some? He said, we're going to build a gymnasium for a private school and all. I said, sure, sure. Give me a half a dozen. I was getting the money, and he said, say, he said, mister, he says, haven't I seen you somewhere before? He said, are you in show business? And I said, yes, I am. He said, what's your name? I said, James Ernest. He said, no. He said, James Ernest does Gunsmoke. I said, no, my name is really Richard Boone, kid.
But it's fun to lie.
Of course.
It's fun to lie to the kids, isn't it?
Of course, you know. And my name is really Richard Boone. He says, no, he does Have Gun Will Travel. Now I said to myself, now I'll test him.
Yeah.
I said, my name is really Ernest Borgnine. And nothing, I mean to tell you, no recognition. He said, I know I've seen you somewhere before. I said, here, kid, thanks, here's your money. He left, put the chocolate bars down, closed the door, called up my agent. I said, are they still going to do that thing with McHale's Navy? He said, yeah. I said, okay, we'll do it. He said, wonderful, what changed your mind? I said, none of your damn business. I must tell you, David, I must tell you, a year later, almost to the day, after we had filmed it and everything else, the first one, and we were on vacation, and I was slipping and sliding down a hill in Bend, Oregon, looking for a lake, and finally...
You were out there fishing or something?
Yeah, I was going to go fishing. Yeah. And suddenly we came upon it, and I went into this log cabin. And the fella took one look at me and he says, McHale, what are you doing here? And I said, son of a gun, that kid was right.
Kid was right. It would have been funny if the kid said, ooh, you killed Frank Sinatra.
Well, then the cat was out of the bag, right?
Yeah, by that time.
I might never have done McHale's Navy.
Is this true? We're out of time here? No, it's a darn shame. Well, listen,
shame.
it was a pleasure meeting you, and anytime you feel like you want to drop by...
Oh, David, the movie...